Sports. We are Fourth. We are Florida. Tonight, while the Marlins and Phils take the field, our Fox Sports Florida analysts will cover every base. Up first, Tommy Hutton, 12-year major leaguer, one of the best pinch hitters of his era. At third, Jeff Conine, a two-time world champ and an all-star MVP. In the outfield, Preston Wilson, an all-star, a world champ, and a National League RBI crown. And our starting pitcher, Carl Pavano. He won 108 games, was an all-star, and a world champ. All four with distinguished resumes. All four look great in a coat and tie. All four will be on tonight. It's time for the analysts to assemble for Marlins and Phillies. In Miami tonight, Marlins, Phillies, and analysts. Lots of them. The Fish and the Phils in this three-game set, and it's a game apiece. But inside Marlins Park, we've got you surrounded. Hi, everybody. We start with Tommy Hutton, Rich Waltz. You're not as serious up here as you were down on the field.
No, they told me to have my game face, so I put the game face on.
Well, we got a lot of game faces here, not only Phils and Marlins. Here is the location of the analysts tonight. Now, this is printed on the back of the tickets as well. There you have Preston Wilson out in right field. Carl Pavano is going to be right behind home plate. And Jeff Conine will be at the third base camera well. And so this should be fun. We did it last year, and it's backed by, I guess, demand.
Well, I would say popular demand, and I think it was fun last year because we got to tap into three different guys in three different locations and get their perspective.
What has Jared Cozart tapped into? Because all of a sudden he's throwing well, he's healthy, and he goes for Miami tonight.
I'll tell you what, in Jared Cozart's 3 starts since returning from the disabled list, he's 1-0 and has an ERA of 1.72. Last time out against the Nationals, he got that curveball working. He spotted his fastball. Mainly a two-pitch guy. He'll use the changeup occasionally. But it's good to see Jared Cozart on the mound throwing well the way he did last time out.
Chance to win a series for Miami here tonight against the Phils. The analysts have assembled, ready to go at their posts. Oh, that's right. Pavy's hungry. Forgot about that. from first pitch. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. What are you looking for tonight from your vantage point up here?
My vantage point right now, I'm looking to see some individual guys reach a few little goals. So let's look for D. Gordon to get a few hits tonight.
All right, let's go around the ballpark now and find out what our analysts are looking for. All right, bring them on in. Here they are. Preston Wilson, you're up first in the outfield. What are you looking for tonight?
Oh, I'm going to give you a look at some of the jumps these guys are getting in the outfield, maybe some routes on the fly balls, some angles that guys are throwing to bases for. And also, I got to look right behind D. Gordon as he's going for this stolen base crown so I can tell you what kind of lead he's getting and if he's playing a little cat and mouse with that pitcher.
All right, very nice. Carl Pavano, you're right behind home plate. What are you looking for?
Oh, guys, with this view right here, I'm looking for Cozart tonight. Get that curveball early. You know he has a lot of late movement, and hopefully he harnesses it early and really gives these Phillies some hitters, some real fits.
All right, Jeff Conine, aside from staying away from line drives down there, what's up with you?
Yeah, Craig Minervini's give me some tips. I don't have a clipboard to protect myself, but I'm going to have a nice view of infield play here, some good vantage points of the at-bats, and try to relay some information to you guys.
All right, way to go, analysts. Ready to go. First pitch right around the bend. All four of them working for you tonight as the Marlins and the Phillies go at it in Miami. Let's go places. By Checkers Epic Meals, Epic Deals. And by AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. Marlins Park tonight. Phillies and Fish went extra innings last night with the Marlins walking off with a 4-3 win in 11. Phillies lineup tonight. Pete McCannon penned this one. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. Switch hitting Freddie Galvis in the leadoff spot. Brian Bogasevic in right. Odubel Herrera out in center. Darren Ruff is at first. Andres Blanco, switch hitter at second base. Cody Ashe hit a couple homers in game one. Cameron Rupp is behind the plate. Aaron Altair is out in left field. And Alec Asher will do the pitching, and he hits ninth. And a look at 25-year-old Jared Cozart. Trying season physically. The vertigo, which knocked him out over 2 months.
Yeah, it really has been. In our conversations that we've had with Jared, he talks about that. Very frustrating for him. So he makes his 12th start of the year, but the key for him, especially since his return, 3 starts since he's been back, an ERA of 1.72, and it all evolves around 2 pitches, the fastball and the curveball, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot from Carl Pavano about that as the game goes on.
And for the Marlins, after a bump in the road in D.C., they'd like to get back to winning series. They had won 5 straight, and the first pitch is lined into right field, a hit for Galvis. Pinch Penny brought you that first pitch. Galvis with his 5th hit already of the series, and Brian Bogusevic comes to the plate.
Yeah, I think some guys to keep an eye on the Phillies ball club in their lineup tonight. Certainly Galvis, he's right around 300 this year against the Marlins. Odubel Herrera right around 330 against Miami this year.
And a strike to Bogusevic. The Phillies last night had Aaron Altair up in the 2 spot. Marlins got a home run from Justin Bour in the 4th. Phillies answered with a run in the 5th. Phillies almost won it in extra innings last night. They got a run in the top of the 10th. Miami answered in the 10th and then won it in the 11th. And a 1-1 pitch. And it's outside to Bogusevic. Much like the Marlins, the Phillies have a lot of players getting opportunities to play. Injuries for the Phillies, trades for the Phillies, and a new manager, Pete Mackanin, extended through next year. Cozart falls behind at 3-1. Twice an interim manager before Philly. Chuck Hernandez taking a peek out to Cozart. Bogusevic fouls it back to the screen. It's 3-2.
We'll see what kind of a manager Pete Mackanin is. See if he has Freddie Galvis on the move on this upcoming 3-2 pitch.
That's why the manager's got a stopwatch in his hand to figure out the time to the plate for Jared Cozart. Galvis can run a little, not running, and it's off of Cozart's glove. Gordon has to make a detour, bare hands, and makes a really nice play to get the out at first base. And that's a nice segue to Miami's defense tonight.
We'll check on that defense, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield and left is Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna in center, Ichiro in right. Those 3 guys all comfortable in those 3 spots. Dietrich moves into 3rd. Miguel Rojas has been just tremendous. D. Gordon can make that detour anytime to make a play, as he just did. Justin Bour at 1st, and JT Real Muto behind the plate.
Odubel Herrera, as we bring in all 3 analysts now. Herrera spread out in the box, a couple hits in the series. A Rule 5 guy who has panned out for the Phils this year. Carl Pavano, your early impressions of Jared Cozart.
You know, coming off the DL, I noticed that early on he's just a little anxious, but when he gets that cutter going, that curveball going, you guys could see how his tempo and rhythm, everything rolls. He's just trying to find that consistent release point. He's a guy that's high energy. Some of that energy needs to wear off, but he's got the velocity. It's just about finding that consistency right now.
Sprayed towards short. Rojas around it and gets the out. And Jeff Conine. Adeiny Echeverria is a Gold Glove shortstop. At least he's played like it this year. Now he's been out for over 3 weeks, and fans have had a chance to see Miguel Rojas, and a lot of eyes have been opened.
Yeah, he's been very impressive on defense. Part of that trade last year in the D. Gordon deal with the L.A. Dodgers. Miguel Rojas was kind of a guy they felt was going to be a defensive replacement, but been very surprised with his bat so far in September, hitting about 285. So a lot of bonuses. One of the best pair of hands I've ever seen on a shortstop. He's an exceptional defender.
Rojas tested, diving on his feet, on to first, got it.
Just like I said, What did I say?
Just on cue.
What did I say?
This guy's good.
Thank you.
Miguel Rojas. Phillies and the Marlins begin. Into the bottom of the first we roll. J.M. Lexus brings you Miami's lineup. D. Gordon leadoff spot. Ichiro a start in right. Christian Yelich back in left. Justin Bour a homer last night. Marcell Ozuna's in center. Derek Dietrich slides into third base. JT Realmuto having an incredible September is behind the plate. Rojas is in the 8th spot. Jared Cozart hits 9th.
There's a look at a 23-year-old Alec Asher making just his 5th major league start. He'll work with a couple of pitches. The word on Asher is that he will have trouble putting a hitter away. He's also allowed 6 home runs in his brief time.
Start number 5, a Florida native, and he gets a strike to D. Gordon. 3 hits in the series. They came last night for Gordon. Takes a fastball out. Of course, a lot of things can happen in this last week and a half for D. Gordon. Ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Blanco. And Gordon is out. Phillies defensively tonight.
Yeah, defensively, the Phillies made 3 errors in the ball game last night. Defense brought to you by BMW. Aaron Altair, Odubel Herrera, and Brian Bogusevic in that outfield. Cody Ashe, Freddie Galvis, Andres Blanco, Darren Ruff around the infield. And the Phillies have used 3 different catchers starting these games. And it's Cameron Rupp tonight.
Here is Ichiro with Yelich behind him. And Ichiro swings and misses. Ichiro came in last night in a double switch and ended up getting on base twice. He walked, singled, and bounced out.
Guys, I don't know about you, but being away from the game for quite some time and watching it from a distance, when you get down to this vantage point, it's amazing how fast the game is. I mean, the pitches are really fast. I mean, I used to hit that. Preston, I know you probably can't even see it from out there in right field, but it's really fast over here.
Here's the 1-2.
That's where you hear the term, young players that come up from the minor leagues or come from college, that they have to slow the game down because it seems really fast to them. But if you play it that way, you're not going to have success.
It's like my tennis game right now. I got to slow it down.
That one is up. Preston Wilson, how do you slow the game down?
The first thing you have to do is slow down your heart rate. One of the biggest things to do is fight adrenaline, fight that rush, that urge to get so pumped up. When you slow that down, then the actual gameplay will slow down.
Ichiro, that liner hangs up, and Herrera makes the catch. There are 2 outs. Was that easy for you, Preston, as a young player getting to the big leagues? And were you able to do it throughout your career?
It was one of the hardest things for me to learn, was to be able to slow down that heart rate, stay under control, not let the moment get my heart rate up, because in baseball you have to try softer sometimes, simply because the defense controls the ball. It's not like other sports.
There's Yelich. Asher misses out with a fastball.
I'll tell you what, Pavy and Niner may be closer, but Preston looks nice and relaxed. He slowed it down nice out there.
I have slowed it down.
He's taking those lessons into his broadcasting.
That's right.
All you need is a hammock out there, Preston, to be really slow.
You know what? That might really do it. I might have the best game calling of my life if I had that.
Yelich busts his bat and gets a hit. The bat ends up by first. The ball's in center field. It's a 2-out single.
Well, every month over the last 3 months, Christian Yelich has just gotten better and better. The average has been over 300. He's hit 343 since June 27th. That tells you what kind of hitter he is.
Don't be surprised if you see him take that into next year. I've had a few conversations with him, and he's learned so much from going through that adversity. He said that's the longest he's ever been hitting in the low 200s, playing baseball for a couple months. And he's learned about himself. He's learned about his approach. And I think he's going to have a tremendous year next year.
Justin Bour takes outside. Now, Justin Bour, gentlemen, has opened a lot of eyes himself with his bat. He really has had a terrific run. And as Tommy pointed out, his ability to bounce back from struggles after he had success.
You know, one of the most important things, I think, for a player, especially a young player, is proving to yourself that you could get out of it when you're struggling. And that's a huge mental hurdle for a lot of guys. And some guys don't ever conquer that. And the guys that do, they stay around.
Off the end of the bat and squirts over to Ashe, who flips across the diamond to get the out. One in the books. Phillies and Marlins scoreless tonight.
Por West Kendall Toyota.
Scoreless ball game. Top two. A hit apiece for Miami and Philly. 4 analysts here tonight. Jeff Conine, Preston Wilson, Carl Pavano, Tommy Hutton. All here to watch the Phils and the Marlins. See if Miami can take another series. They've won 5 of their last 6. Cozart zips in a fastball for a strike. Andres Blanco, Cody Ashe, and Cameron Rupp for the Phillies. And a good breaking ball from Jared Kozart.
Look out when that one gets consistent.
Kozart, an outstanding September. Just 3 earned runs in 17 innings. The view for Carl Pavano. Notice how they moved him outside the Diamond Club after last year.
I ate all the food.
Crushing the all-you-can-eat. Another nice play by Rojas going to his left. It's out in right field is Preston Wilson. We haven't seen a lot of Jared Kozart this year. What the Marlins saw of him at the end of last year was very impressive, and he's duplicating that this year.
I asked Jared, I said, at one point, you looked like your cutter wasn't your natural cutter that you usually have. And he said, you know what? It wasn't. And that's because I wasn't extending and finishing my pitches. And I was losing that late cut, and I was losing that late movement on my fastball. So what he said was, after the stint on the DL, he really got a chance to work on getting that extension. And what it did was it made his cutter more active late, and it also gave him more of a two-seamer. You see him sometimes use that on the first base side of the plate. So that gave him just that added dimension simply by working on getting extension and maintaining that good release point way out front.
Ball and a strike to Cody Ashe. To right, Ichiro is there, and he makes the catch. Speaking of extension and delivery, Adam Conley in the last 2 starts has really changed the perception of him. Carl Pavano, just by going out throwing as hard as he can for as long as he can, he said it after the game, it makes every one of his pitches different.
You know, when you have conviction behind your pitches, it's usually your best stuff. You can't go out there and hold back and pace yourself. You got to go out there with a game plan and aggressively attack the zone. And that's what he's done. He's expanded the zone, and it's made everything out front. Just like Preston said, the most important thing is that extension, because that allows you, when you have that extension, it allows you to.
Ichiro is there and makes the catch. Jared Kozart finishes off the Phils in the second in a scoreless ballgame. And Fish, the only way to guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game here in Miami is place your 2016 Marlins season ticket deposit down and join the Fish family today. Call 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/tickets. In Miami tonight, Marlins, Phillies. Tommy Hutton, Rich Waltz with you. Jeff Conine, third base side. Carl Pavano behind the plate. Preston Wilson in the outfield down the right field line. Alec Asher from Lakeland, Florida. A pair of junior colleges along the way. Polk Community College in Winter Haven. Santa Fe Community College in Gainesville.
A couple of real good baseball programs at those two junior colleges.
And he excelled. He dominated in junior college. He was a 4th round pick of the Texas Rangers. Ozuna. Oh, wow. It hit something. And let's hope it's just a glancing blow off of a hand or a forearm, and it didn't get anything up above the shoulders.
Boy, this fastball just gets away.
Oh,
catches
right on the hand.
Catches the fingers on the top hand. But looks like Marcell Ozuna's okay. That's good news.
The good thing is it didn't hit the fingers up against the bat. He was able to kind of pull them off, and it glanced off. That doesn't feel good, but if that bat is behind those fingers, that's where the trouble really is.
He got lucky there. That was scary.
You could see the ball actually ended up in the glove of Cameron Rupp, the catcher. Now Dietrich with Real Muto behind him. Asher, one of the many that came from the Texas Rangers to the Phillies in the Cole Hamels trade. What's your scouting report on him?
Well, he needs a third pitch. That's what we were told. We'll watch that as he goes along. He came over in that Hamels deal. He had Tommy John surgery as a 14-year-old. Wow.
That is the youngest I have ever heard of a major league pitcher having Tommy John surgery.
You read about it. You read about young kids and teenagers having Tommy John surgery, but yeah, to have one get to the major leagues, it's the first. Yeah.
One foul back to the screen.
Wow, 19 pitches into this start, and Alec has not thrown anything but fastballs. You very rarely see that, and he's controlling his fastball really well. I think Tommy's right on with, you know, his secondary pitches. He might not trust them as much, but he definitely trusts his fastball with 19 in a row right here.
Hey, Pavi, I wanted to ask you about Jared Kozart too. It looked like he threw a couple of changeups last inning, which is good for him. Yeah.
He threw one for a ball and one for a strike that Asher got off the end.
Well, another thing is if you're a guy like Asher that only has 2 pitches, if you start showing both pitches to everybody your first time through the lineup, you're setting yourself up for a world of hurt that second and third time through if he's able to make it that far. So maybe it's a conscious effort to not show the breaking ball until he absolutely has to.
I think you're right. There's no doubt about it. Coming in 0-4 with a 9.78, I'm thinking, does he go to his secondary too early and he's not getting through the lineup? But it looks like it's the opposite today.
Well, I think, too, with today's scouting reports, I think major league hitters know that he doesn't have a very good secondary pitch, so they can eliminate it. That's what the good hitters do. They eliminate a pitch and focus on one, and they're probably pouncing on that fastball.
Dietrich 3 hits in the series, including a double. Marcell Ozuna's at first. Miami had a runner in the first inning. Count stays 2-2. Oh, look at them all lined up. Preston Wilson, Carl Pavano, Jeff Conine.
What a fashion statement.
We got it going on, don't we?
Very nice. And time called.
As soon as Hugo Boss calls us, we'll all be in on the clothing deal.
Oh, you guys didn't get that call yet?
Preston's already got that deal. We're just trying to piggyback on it.
Oh, he doesn't share. He's not going to share with us. Are you serious?
They said they were calling you guys. Seriously.
Let's see. Preston was a world champ. He was an all-star. He won an RBI title, and he was also voted best dressed in the National League. I'm not sure what season that was. 2003, I believe.
And 2004.
Wow.
By himself, though. Who voted? Himself and only himself?
And
you got trophies for that, Preston?
As a matter of fact, I do. I got a plaque from the league commissioner.
And in his 2014 announcer rookie card, he was the only one dressed in a three-piece suit. 2-2 coming.
Overachiever.
Yeah.
Dietrich fouls it back.
It's a good battle by Derek Dietrich.
There's your first breaking ball right there. A nice little slider in. It's the only ball that's come, on the slider side of the plate. Everything else is kind of road high and sank.
It looks like he's thrown a breaking ball a couple of change-ups, because a couple of pitches have been like 85 and his fastball's around 93.
Two.
I would just like to comment on the fact that Mr. Ironman, Mr. Mountain Climber called me an overachiever. That's all. I'm just leaving it at that.
Yeah, I retired from baseball. I do triathlons.
Yeah,
I climbed Kilimanjaro, and I'm planning Mount Everest.
Yeah, world-class racquetball player, Ironman, and he calls someone else an overachiever.
He's just deflecting the attention.
Count full. Haven't seen Ozuna run much this year. But there he goes. Dietrich hits it to left and hits it pretty well. Altair back. Squares it up and makes the catch. There have been players over these last 3-4 months that have had opportunities to show the Marlins what they can do. JT Realmuto's opportunity occurred when Jared Saltalamacchia struggled once again in April. And Jeff Conine for Realmuto to step in, handle a major league pitching staff, play every day as a catcher, and then suddenly be swinging a hot bat in September is really something.
Yeah, I think it's really remarkable what he's done throughout the course of the season. Like you said, was not expected to be here in the big leagues. The Marlins, I think, wanted to get him a bunch of at-bats in AAA this year and kind of season him a little bit more before they brought him up. Well, with the Jared Saltalamacchia struggles, they had to thrust him into the big leagues. And I'll tell you what, the demeanor, the leadership capabilities he's been showing in the clubhouse, and like you said, a hot September right now. As a catcher, to be hitting over 300 in September shows me that this guy's here to stay.
Slow tapper to third. Ashe crossed the diamond to get the out. It's the second out. And Ozuna now resides at second base for Miguel Rojas.
I believe the seminal or definitive moment for JT Realmuto was early in the season when Dan Herron gave such a glowing acceptance of him and his work behind the plate. And I think from then on, he got the respect of everybody else on that staff. He had the respect of the other guys that he worked with in the minor leagues coming up. And he's been able to be a catcher as a rookie, garner the respect of the pitching staff, and still maintain the focus and stamina to put a good offensive season out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Preston, one of the big compliments has to go to Jeff Mathis, too, for really showing him the ropes and leading him how to handle that pitching staff.
When you think about it, there really aren't that many rookie catchers, because catchers are like catcher's gloves. They get broken in. Remember Brian McCann in Atlanta? I mean, he was a once every 5-day catcher for John Smoltz.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into it compared to other positions. I mean, he's learning an entire pitching staff. He's learning how to call a game at this level, plus trying to work his way through offensive slumps. And he's just been terrific all year.
Rojas up. 3 hits in the series, including a homer. And his hottest stretch of the year. He's hit in 8 straight at a .429 clip.
Boy, look at this. Over the last 10 days, National League highest averages. Miguel Rojas up there with some big boys. He had a 10-pitch and a 9-pitch at bat last night, too.
Alec Asher out in front of Rojas, 1 and 2. This kind of was the pattern last night for some of those Rojas at bats. He'd fall behind, then fight off tough pitch after tough pitch. That was pitch number 4. Pitch 3, the one that Rojas wasn't happy about, was right underneath pitch 4. You can't see it. Pitch 4 was right on top of 3.
Yeah, last night a fantastic 9-pitch at bat to get on base and create that 2-out rally that the Marlins had a walk-off win.
Soft ground ball. Blanco at second gets the out, and Miami done in the seconds. Scoreless ball game here with lots of analysts. .35 sign. You'll find Preston Wilson, one of our 4 analysts tonight. Preston, what have you seen tonight so far?
So far, I've seen some good pitching. I've seen Jared Cozart move the ball around. I've seen some good defense on that infield. Miguel Rojas, D. Gordon got the deflection off the pitcher. Ichiro with a couple fly balls is looking good out here.
All right, behind the plate is Carl Pavano. Pavi, from your perspective, what's new?
Yeah, Cozart stuff's getting going. He dropped some really good curveballs last inning. He's changing speeds. He's starting to locate his fastball. His rhythm and tempo is really picking up.
Jeff Conine down at third base. Speed of the game you talked about, Niner, in 2 innings. What have you seen?
Well, you look at these guys throwing 93 to 95 mile-an-hour fastballs, and it's being removed from the game for about 8 years now. It looks really quick down here, so you get to appreciate what a major league hitter's reaction time is all about.
Tommy Hutton up in the booth. It looks like both Cozart and Asher, so far so good.
Yeah, and just to follow up what Niner's been talking about, it is, and I think fans, that's why most fans have played the game of baseball, and when they watch a game from afar, it looks real smooth and easy. But these guys are at the highest level, and they make a lot of really tough plays look easy.
I'll give you a good analysis, guys. When you watch NASCAR on television, it looks like those guys are going about 70, 80 miles an hour. Those guys are going between 170 to over 200 something miles an hour. It's just the television makes it look slower. The same thing with a baseball.
I've driven one of those cars. They do go fast.
Yeah. How fast did you drive it?
I got it to 168 was my fastest lap.
Wow. Did you wear the fire suit and everything?
Oh, yeah. I had the full regalia on. It was really tough getting in that car, though. Those doors don't open, you know. You got to crawl through the window. Almost blew out an ab muscle.
I'm not sure Pavi could get in one of those.
Oh, watch it,
Pavi's got no chance.
Watch it.
You have to cut off the roof.
I'll have to sit in the middle.
That was the first real salvo of the night. Shots fired.
Oh.
Alec Asher trying to bunt right now after the leadoff walk to Aaron Altair.
Man, you hate to see a 4-pitch walk with the pitcher on deck, especially going into the 3rd inning.
Runner goes. Real Muto's throw on the mark, and he's out.
I love seeing that, though.
Boy, that's a gift right there.
Yeah, it is.
What a great throw by JT Real Muto, who we were just talking about his progress as a catcher, offensively and defensively. In a sacrifice situation, he makes a perfect throw.
I'm looking at Altair's jump, and if they're going to sack bunch you over anyway, if you steal, you got to have that A+ #1 jump, and it wasn't. It was just an average jump, and I think he cost his team a guy being in scoring position just by not recognizing he should have shut it down after that poor jump.
How easy or how difficult is that to do, Preston?
It's actually pretty easy. You know when you take off and get that first step or two where you got that good clean jump before the pitcher really got into his motion, you just shut it down and go back, because the catcher's going to be geared to go to second first. Then he's got to reorient and go to first, so you're going to get back a lot of times.
I think the fact that Cozart's pretty quick to the plate, too, you got to take that into account as well.
Oh, agreed. You got to know what that guy's time is, and if you don't get your good jump off of him, then shut it down.
And how about the footwork and perfect throw from JT Realmuto?
Nice. That was a dime throw right on the bag right there, guys.
Alec Asher lines one into left field. And that's a one-out single for the Phil's pitcher. If you're a Strong fan and you've got a photo of yourself or another Strong fan, you could be T-Mobile's Data Strong Fan of the Game. Hashtag your photo, FL Data Strong Fan. Send it out, Instagram. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. So Alec Asher, the kid from Lakeland, has his first major league hit. Just a kid from Lakeland. They've got to be buddies. They've got to be friends.
Got to be.
Yeah.
Of
it's
Asher's.
a short trip. Lakeland's a short trip for them.
Nobody else wears those shirts unless you are actually from Lakeland.
Yeah. Good
Went
point.
to
Niner.
Lakeland High School. Heck yeah.
Galvis up. Man, the funny thing is that Jared Cozart, he was a Philly. So a lot of these guys that are getting this taste here, 23, 24, 25. Cozart is just 25. He was drafted and signed by the Phillies in 2008. That hits the runner. And the ball is dead. It's going to be a base hit for Galvis. And Asher is out. When the ball hits a runner off the bat, that runner is immediately out, and the hitter is credited with a base hit.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this one, it would have been into the hole. It was going into right field. A lot of times you'll see a hitter hit a ball, hits a runner, maybe the ball would have been right at the second baseman. But yeah, the ball's dead, the hitter gets a base hit, and Asher heads back to the dugout.
Well, he got his first hit, and that was his first time on base in the big leagues. So
Cozart has gotten a couple of nice breaks in this inning.
Well, the pitcher just cost himself. I mean, if you just let that ball go by you, you're still going to make it to second base. That's just one of those things where I don't know if he was so caught up in the excitement of just being on base, but you got to have better awareness than that and just let the ball go by you.
Remember your first time on base, Pavy?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't have got it on the way either.
it's scored as a single for Galvis, and I believe it's 3 unassisted. Candid commentary from Carl Pavano. Fouled at the plate, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, pitchers always want to tell you how good of athletes, what type of athlete they are.
Here we go.
And then you see stuff like that. That just.
Preston, did you pitch in high school?
As a matter of fact, I did, Carl.
Yeah, right.
I
Whatever.
did. My senior year, I was 13-0 with a 1.9 ERA.
I know.
Just in case you want to check.
Oh God. There it is. I'm gonna look that up.
Look that up. 13-0 with a 1.9. Check it out.
It's funny that you remember that 50 years later.
Last time I pitched. Don't have to worry about it no more.
I think the reunion was this summer, so it's fresh in his mind.
Hey, if you do it well once, you don't have to do it anymore.
Did you get a plaque from the commissioner for that too?
I know he's got plaques all over his house apparently.
Oh boy.
1-2 pitch. And it just misses. Bogus 7 with Galvis at first. In a scoreless ball game in the third.
I can't let this being left unsaid. I led our team in hitting my senior year too, so that doesn't tell me much.
No, because we've seen you hit.
I have. You have, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I hit off the front foot. Is there a problem with that?
Nope. Not in high school.
Oh boy. Lanja.
3-2 from Cozart. Big lead by Galvis. And a swing and a miss, and Cozart finishes the inning. So he got some breaks, and then he strikes out Bogus 7. Jared Cozart, 3 scoreless. Marlins and Phillies. Night. It's coming up. It's brought to you by Pepsi, and it's tomorrow. The Braves are here. The DeLorean will be here. Post-game fireworks spectacular and a Billy McFly bobblehead. Just $25 at Marlins.com/special events. Marlins.com/special events. $25 gets you a game ticket and that collector's item, the Billy McFly bobbleheads. Bottom of the third, scoreless. Jeff Conine down at third. Carl Pavano behind home plate. Preston Wilson in the outfield. Tommy Hutton up here in the booth. The analysts have this one surrounded tonight with Jared Cozart, D. Gordon, and Ichiro in the third. Slow tapper. And Freddie Galvis on to first. The Marlins still have some players they'd like to see get back in these last 10 days of the season. And Carter Capps today started off in the bullpen. Out to the mound. Little sim game. Trying to simulate game conditions. And Danny Echeverria, one of the other players Miami's trying to get back, he took some swings. Dan Jennings before the ball game told the media he was pleased and all the reports were good from both players, and an opportunity this weekend, let's hope, for both Capps and Echeverria to be back on the field.
That's a good point. Let's hope we see both of them back this weekend. D. Gordon now. Gordon, of course, trying to chase down Bryce Harper
In the batting chase, Harper today 0 for 3 is hitting .339.
That's not the story, though, in Washington.
You see Gordon at .331. The story in Washington is the Nationals lost again. 5-4. Baltimore beats them. And the Nationals.
I thought the story in D.C. was the Pope.
Well, that's the secondary story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Nationals were second.
Yeah, the Pope was actually hitting 5th in that lineup.
That explains it.
It still didn't work. The Nationals were swept by the Orioles. Gordon goes down. And guys, for all of you, I guess open forum here on the Mets and the Nationals. What you've seen from start to finish, and it sounds like it's just about finished.
Well, I was shocked the way the Nationals performed this year. I was kind of along with the bandwagon, thinking that they were going to pretty much run away with this National League East. And you got to give the Mets a lot of credit for what they put together this year and the season they've had.
The Nationals have had so many injuries. Denard Span, Rendon, Jason Worth. Their pitching has had troubles this year. Zimmerman being hurt. They had so many injuries up and down their lineup. And key guys from the heart of that lineup, that I think it made it really tough on them to compete. But you can't discount what the Mets have done, giving them the presence of Cespedes in the middle of that lineup, the young pitching, all of those guys coming up. I think they've been a tremendous story for Major League Baseball this year.
Well, right now, one of the stories here is Alec Asher, the 23-year-old from Lakeland, looking for his first Major League win. 3 scoreless innings. And Phillies are scoreless. Last year, the first time we tried this was one of the highlights. Carl Pavano getting white tablecloth service. Niner had a protein bar. Preston got a cookie, a Fox Sports cookie, and that's it. And that's dessert for Pavano, who had already gone through 3 courses up to that point.
Of course, Craig ran away quick with that so he could eat the rest of it.
Yeah. Pavy's spot is right by the Diamond Club, where it's all you can eat. So we thought we'd get the chef out of the Diamond Club.
Come on. Hey, see, if you complain enough, Niner, you get your way.
You know what?
What do you mean?
Niners teaching us a good lesson.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Niners teaching us a good lesson tonight. Complain and you get what you want. And if you give your co-host comments and a little bit of compliments, then in return they have to tell you how great you are as well.
I don't even know what you just said, but I agree with it.
Yes.
What do you have?
Can we get a translator, please?
We got a little salmon and a little tuna sashimi here.
Oh, figures.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, you got to keep it light there, Carl.
Oh,
Not like what you had last year.
Well, I'm Italian,
So Jeff Conine.
Italians like churros? I saw churro you're in.
Well, That's Italian, isn't it?
Southern Italy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, another leadoff walk. Remember, Cozart walked Altair to open the third, and he walks Herrera, who has 15 stolen bases. He's aboard at first. Darren Ruff, Andres Blanco. This is the heart of the order for the Phillies. Now Preston Wilson.
Oh, what did I get to eat there? Oh, I get hamburgers? Oh, that's nice.
Come on.
From the Clevelander.
Wow. Prime rib ham? That's nice.
Wow.
Hey,
Try not
Preston,
to
I'll
talk
trade
with
you some sushi for a hamburger.
No, thanks. I'm good. Bye,
Come
guys.
on, man. You got 2 of them there.
Hey, make
I
sure
got
as
plenty of
soon
sushi.
as soon as he takes a bite, we'll ask him a question.
Very nice.
Yes, I am. That looks good.
Got my chopsticks,
Thank you
Carl.
very
What do you
much.
got?
I'm worried. It's funny you say that because I'm worried what's going to come in for me right now. Oh, I could imagine.
Wow.
Am I getting like the ice bucket challenge right now, or what?
You take a look at that.
I think Billy's got something for you.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That looks awesome.
That looks incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Oh, man.
What is that?
It's a little bit of, it's a prime rib, a little tomato, cheddar cheese, little onion straws on there. Yeah. Yeah. And some yuca fries, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, my God.
You got to have wasabi, right? I mean, little fresh ginger.
Wow. Okay, well,
This is exactly what
hey,
you
guys,
do.
I think I got some
in the
extra
ballpark.
for you here.
Oh God. This telecast is
I think I
getting
got
out of
some
control.
extra for you here because I got some
fantastic.
here. I got some here. So if anybody wants some extra, I can.
Hey, you guys are making me
I'll
hungry.
share.
Don't show that anymore. You're making me hungry. Oh boy.
1-2 the count.
All right, thank
and a
you
breaking
very
ball
much.
pulled foul.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, back to baseball. The 2 analysts who got the short straws last year, Fed, Pavy, we're working on yours, but it may be a while. Darren Ruff, big, strong first baseman, with Odubel Herrera at first base. He's running. Diving stop. Dietrich on his feet. How about that play? And that almost made Jeff Conine drop the chopsticks.
I almost did drop the chopsticks. That was a fantastic play by Derek Dietrich.
We saw Dietrich make a terrific play in the outfield and left field, and now he comes in to play third base in this one tonight. Makes a great play right there.
And he did a great job by keeping his feet moving after he caught that ball. Some guys make that great diving play and then they get lazy feet and just try to throw it all arm over there. Ends up being a bad throw. He kept his feet moving, made a good throw to first after the nice catch.
Perry Hill, replace your feet. That was one of his main things.
Tell you what, that left side of the infield, remember the diving play to end the first, and that was rough as well. That was Miguel Rojas over the middle. And so now Dietrich makes it 2 great plays against Ruff. Blanco with Herrera at second.
Yeah, right now Darren Ruff is wondering if there are any holes in the infield.
And that's not even the A team over there. Martin Prado and Adeiny Echeverria. Echeverria hopefully back this weekend. Prado actually took swings in the cage, both the indoor cage and during batting practice, testing out the sore wrist. There's Prado. He did make a special guest appearance last night after the game.
Showed off his dunking skills.
Who knew that this versatile infielder from Venezuela had such dunking skills?
Yeah. Pretty good ups.
Even D. Gordon was impressed. And that is strike 3. Down goes Blanco.
Carl, what have you noticed last 2 innings? 4 pitch walks to start off the inning, and then he comes right back now, and very impressive at bat last time to strike that guy out.
Yeah, the late movement right there. When he backdoors that slider, especially when he crowds those guys with that cutter in or the fastball that cuts, and then he goes away with it. I mean, guys have no chance, especially at 95. But it just all starts with that curveball. When he gets that curveball going, it just really gets his tempo. First pitch strike is big for him. I haven't seen the sinker executing that as well as he has, but that cutter's really coming along.
Ashe, who homered twice in game 1 of the series. Carl, we've got your meal.
Oh boy,
there it is.
Yes.
Sweet.
Right up your alley.
Nice. I need some sugar.
That's pretty.
Isn't that nice, guys?
Man,
How
what a
have you not
shot
eaten
that
that
is.
yet?
Up the middle, off of Cozart. Rojas has to pick it up. Cozart is hurt.
That's not good.
No.
That ball was squared up. That was a bullet.
I'm not sure where that hit him. It's his left arm he's pointing at.
Watch the glove hand.
Yeah, right above the wrist, right on the under part of the forearm. And this ball's hit hard by Cody Ashe.
And everybody out on the mound right now.
You know, and Cozart is not guilty of some of the things that I talked about with some of these max effort guys being out of control, out of fielding position when they release the ball. That ball was just smoked. He was in a good position to defend himself, but that ball came off the bat 103 miles per hour. Very few guys are going to be able to react to do anything positive to knock that ball down.
Well, he's going to try to stay in. He'll take some tosses. I know speed off the bat sometimes doesn't illustrate some things, but it certainly does when you're a pitcher and you get hit by a ball like that. It just shows you how fast it comes off the bat and how little time you have to react.
Well, so often we talk about a hitter getting hit by a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and that time Cozart got hit by a ball that was 103 miles an hour off the bat.
Narveson is starting to throw in the pen just in case. Now, Carl, an injury to the left forearm. Obviously, it's not his throwing arm or throwing side, but how would it affect a right-handed pitcher like you were?
You know, the front side is kind of delicate. If it's bothering him and he's guarding it and pulling it out of the way, it's not going to help his pitches. But right there, it looks like he's getting to his pitches. The thing is, it's a new injury. This thing will stiffen up as the innings go on. I think this inning, with the blood flow and it being fairly new, I think he's going to be fine. But they got to probably take a good look at it inning after inning, because that could swell up and really get stiff. But he's a tough kid. I think he's going to be fine.
He hit last inning, so he's not due up for a while. Now he's trying to get out of the fourth here without any damage. Phillies at the corners, and Cameron Rupp is the hitter.
As Carl put it, he's a tough Texan.
Yep. It's going to take more than that to get him out of this game.
League City, Texas is the home of Cozart. Also the home of another really tough major league player, one of the toughest I've ever been around, and that's Jay Buhner.
Bring up a good point there, Rich, though. When he comes to bat next time, might be a little difficult to grab the bat. That bottom hand, I'm sure his grip strength is going to be pretty weakened by that shot.
0-1 to Rupp.
Will they be able to tape it with some dark tape to maybe compress to keep that from swelling up too much?
Yeah, I don't know about the rules on that. He might have to put a long sleeve shirt on over that.
Well, guys have tattoos that look like tape, so I would say you could tape it with dark tape.
Because that's one of the things they can do to help combat that swelling, is put some tape on there, give it some compression, and that way he will still maintain some decent mobility and be able to squeeze that glove or squeeze the bat. Because if they don't compress a little bit, you're right, it's going to flare up and it's going to become very immobile.
Well, you could do the tape and just put the sleeve,
the compression sleeve,
like Giancarlo Stanton wears. He's probably got a few hanging in his locker right now.
His are bigger.
Yeah.
Too big for Cozart.
That's a leg sleeve for Cozart.
He might have to wear those on his legs.
1-2, runner goes, and the pitch is out, and it's a stolen base for Cody Ashe.
I would imagine, Carl, that the hardest thing is to put it out of your mind, not think about it, and just concentrate on getting hitters out and not think about the soreness in the left arm.
Yeah, the initial shock of the ball coming back takes a little time to wear off, but he's got second and third. I'm sure his adrenaline's going pretty good right now.
New team in here tomorrow. South Florida Honda dealers. Bring you Marlins live, 6:30 start. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Final Friday with DJ. And it's a Jose Fernandez start on a Friday night. Back to the Future night. Now 2-2. Count full now. Last night it was Carlos Ruiz behind the plate. Eric Kratz caught Tuesday night's game, and it's Rupp tonight. That's a fair ball. Real Muto pounces and gets the outs. And Cozart, despite getting smacked in the forearm, gets out of the inning. It's still scoreless. By Checkers. Epic meals, epic deals. All quiet tonight. So far scoreless. Bottom four. Garrett Cozart still grimacing. Trying to flex that left hand. Mike Kozak, one of the trainers right behind him. And they disappeared into the clubhouse. And so we'll see what they're able to do for it and try to help Cozart stay in this ball game. Meanwhile, Alec Asher has limited Miami to just a broken bat hit by this man, Christian Yelich. Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna coming up here in the fourth. There's a breaking ball for a strike.
You hope that ball off of Jared Cozart's forearm didn't hit a bone, because 103 miles an hour, that could break something very easily.
Yeah, it looked like it got that flesh part of the forearm, though, but a little lower on that elbow bone. Not good.
Remember, Chris Narveson was up and throwing while they tended to him. Narveson has stopped throwing.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I think Cozart's coming back out there. You saw Chuck Hernandez not in talking with Jared Cozart. He's out on the bench, and nobody's warming up in the bullpen.
Yelich. Blanco. Christian Yelich. He's out. Mike Malinsky calls him out. That's one I think the Marlins are going to look at on replay.
Yeah, I think Perry Hill, Marlins first base coach, held his hand up to the dugout. Hey guys, check this one out.
Oh,
he's saved by a lot. Yeah.
I can make that call.
Yeah, he's saved by a lot.
Come on, Carl.
That's one of those you're glad that you have instant replay because it does get called back. Because if you're a base runner and you hit that ball right at someone and you're not going full tilt and you end up getting thrown out, that's one that you kick yourself for, because you say, all I had to do was just keep running. But I gave up on the play as soon as I saw it going right at the fielder. But I'm glad Christian Yelich doesn't have that issue now.
Good point, Preston. Good job on Yelich's part. Look at that.
Fastest ever.
The guys at the command center in New York didn't even answer.
That's going to be an error on the second baseman.
It'll be an error, but you certainly give Yelich credit for going up the line hard. As Preston said, you hit a ball sharply and you see it's right at an infielder, but Christian Yelich kept going hard.
Now Justin Bour. Yelich at first. Bour got one off the end of the bat and squibbed it down the third baseline for an out. As Tommy noted, Alec Asher's major league career has spanned all of 4 starts. This is his 5th. He's given up 6 homers.
He was in Double-A all year last year in the Texas Rangers organization. Not bad. He was 11-11, had a 3.80 ERA.
In those 4 major league starts, 21 earned runs given up.
30 hits in 19 innings.
Guys, I'm looking at Christian Yelich down here, and he has a really short lead at first base. It's probably at most 2.5 steps, but he can take 1 step back, and then with a crossover, he's easily back on the bag. He's got to work really hard to get some extension on a secondary when he's that close to first base.
3-0 pitch. Bour fouls it back.
Do you think part of it, he still might be a little hesitant to dive back to the bag because of the injury, the previous injury?
Yeah, that bruise that he had on his almost the quad or above the knee only hurt him when he dove for a ball in the outfield or back to first.
Well, that could be something that he's taking precautions with, because it's really a conservative lead at first.
That's a mighty rip from Bour, and the count is full. Now, if you're going to send Yelich, this might be the time. And Press, if you got a small lead, you could cheat a little, can't you?
Well, you still have to be careful, because the hardest thing is to make up ground. If you start off with a little bit bigger lead, then you can at least hold your ground. But once the pitcher moves and you don't have a lead, you got to make up a lot of ground, and that's the tough part.
Was not running on that ball up in the seats.
Preston, you were a power hitter with a big swing. You had your share of strikeouts. But in a case like this, 3-2, if Yelich takes off, do you concentrate a little more to make contact?
Yeah, I mean, really, you have to try to block out the hitter. But, yeah, you want to make sure you put the ball in place so you don't leave him hung out to dry there. You know, it becomes 2 ways, especially as a right-handed hitter. I could see that runner, so I didn't want to pay too much attention to him. But if I saw him going, I wanted to try to at least get something on him.
He runs, a swing and a miss, delayed throw. It bounces off of Yelich and ends up in left field. So Yelich gets the stolen base. Bour strikes out. Not sure what it hit. Probably the leg.
Good percentage this year for Christian Yelich. 16 steals. He's only been caught 4 times. There's a little hesitation from Cameron Rupp, the catcher.
Well, nobody was covering.
Nobody was there. Galvis was late, and as soon as Rupp hesitated, you knew that Yelich was going to beat it.
Oh, it was above the belt there, up in that left side, upper left arm area. So a stolen base and a strikeout. And here's Ozuna. Miami has an opportunity to get on the scoreboard. Jeff Conine, it's been a challenging year for Marcell Ozuna. Since he's been back, he has shown signs of getting back to where he was last year. What have you seen since he's been back up from the minor leagues?
I've seen a lot more aggressive Marcell Ozuna in the strike zone. I think early in the year he was tentative. When he got sent down, he comes back. I think he got into a lot better shape as well. He dropped some weight, and I think that sense of urgency kind of refocused his at-bats here in the big leagues. And you've seen him hit the ball really hard since he's been back. Some good power numbers. And you get this revitalized Marcell Ozuna, who's going to be a big part of this Marlins outfield next year.
2-0. And it's down low. Jose Fernandez start tomorrow against Atlanta. It opens the weekend series, a 3-gamer against the Braves. Ryan Weber starts for Atlanta. It'll be Justin Nicolino and Julio Teheran on Saturday. Tom Kohler and Shelby Miller on Sunday. Shelby Miller has had one of the more astounding seasons. His ERA is right at 3.00, which is really good in this day and age. And his one-loss record is 5-16.
His last 23 starts, 0-15 with a 3.65 ERA.
The last win he had was right here, and he almost threw a no-hitter. Remember, Justin Bour broke it up, 2 outs in the ninth.
Can you say no run support maybe? Braves have really been struggling offensively this year, last in the National League in home runs, and not really a characteristic Atlanta Braves team like we've seen in the past.
Miami right now 3.5 games ahead of Atlanta. Marlins in 3rd place in the East. Braves 4th. Phillies in the basement. And Ozuna walks. Well, remember the inning opened with the Blanco error at second base. Pete Buchanan, after last night's game, was not very pleased with his defense, and he said in his post-game news conference, I already have 2 big things for spring training next year: defense and base running. He said we have to be able to do both of those things very well if we're going to win some games next year. Well, Cozart back on the bench. A good sign. Dietrich lifts that one down the left field line, hits it deep. Altair in the corner, and it's a foul ball. If you're just joining us, Marlins star Jared Cozart was struck in the left forearm by a line drive off the bat of Cody Ashley, 103 miles an hour. He stayed in the game. He went directly down into the Marlins clubhouse to receive attention after the inning. So we just spotted him back on the bench. Miami's bullpen started to throw right when that occurred.
Yeah, he has sleeves on.
Probably to cover some sort of compression tape, as Preston suggested. Dietrich fouls it back to the screen. It's 0-2.
If it was back in the 90s or 80s, it'd just be a little cold spray.
Cold spray.
Yeah, you remember that stuff? That stuff didn't work.
The trainers had like a little holster on the side of their
It's all they had.
belt, and they put that cold spray on you, and they, hey, go get him, kid.
Go get him.
Freeze it. It'll be all right.
If you can't feel it, it don't hurt.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got 3rd-degree burns from their
From
ethyl
the spray,
chloride.
yeah. Because it says to hold it 5 feet, and they're right up on it, 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yelich and Ozuna out there right now. And Dietrich goes after a sharp breaking ball, a back foot breaking ball. A couple strikeouts for Asher.
That's a tough pitch for any left-handed hitter, and we haven't seen Asher throw that slider in that spot with that success. That was a good pitch by Asher.
You know, when you have a hitter like Dietrich that hasn't shown that he can handle the fastball, he's obviously trying to cook himself up to get to it. And that slider back foot, it's tough to lay off from a left-handed hitter, especially when it starts as a strike. That was one of his better put-out pitches tonight.
A couple things in that last sequence. You saw that dugout shot. It looked like Mike Goff was on the phone to the Marlins bullpen, and down in the Marlins bullpen, Chris Narveson is up.
You wonder if that's just if this inning extends a little bit, because after Real Muto you have Rojas and then Cozart.
So if he has to hit, he might come out. If he doesn't have to hit, he goes in and pitches.
I think so.
They got Cozart well guarded. We got Chuck on the left side of him and Dustin on the right side of him. So they'll get the scoop, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, 2 outs. Real Muto takes a fastball for a strike. Miami has just 1 hit in this ball game. And you guys documented his numbers. Alec Asher's coming in 19 1/3 innings, 30 hits. And Real Muto pops it up. Blanco calls and catches, and Miami leaves 2. 4 innings through here in Miami, and yep, he is coming out to pitch in the 5th. Jared Cozart threw his first pitch, trying to warm up, and is on his way out. So Cozart threw 1 warm-up pitch. The pain in that left forearm is too much, and so the Marlins will make a pitching change. Now remember, it was Narveson who was warming up after Cozart got hit, and then just before this last half inning ended. Because it's an injury here, the Marlins can choose from anybody in their bullpen. And it's not Narveson they choose, it's Jose Urena.
I think the fear, and with Cozart throwing that 1 pitch, you certainly don't want him to alter anything. And Carl Pavano can speak to that. If you change anything at all because of some little injury, you're just opening yourself up for a possible injury. So probably a good choice. And now Jose Urena gets the call, mainly because of where the ball club is in the lineup with the Phillies, is why Narveson didn't come in.
And so Urena, who is been a starter most of his career, has come out of the bullpen. You see his numbers this year, an ERA of 5.28. He has as long as he would like or need to warm up. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. This is one of our favorite nights of the year because not only do we have the Phillies and the Marlins, and we get the great view up here, but we've got analysts around the ballpark, and they join us now. Let's start with Preston Wilson out in right field. Press, scoreless ball game so far. What changes now with Cozart and Urena?
Well, now you got a different type of pitcher out there, but what I do like is that Dan Jennings selected another right-handed pitcher because Cozart, being right-handed, was doing pretty well against this Phillies lineup. So you keep the righty in there and hope to get similar success.
Carl Pavano is right behind home plate. Pavy won 108 games in the big leagues, a world champ and an all-star as well. For a right-handed pitcher, which you were, to get that left forearm and have that blow and probably started to swell up, how does that affect you? What was Cozart going through there?
You know, I'm sure that it just got stiff, and when you have to keep it there because you have to pitch over it, not around it, it's tough to do when it's stiff like that. He was probably pulling it out of the way, and just like Tommy touched on, you start altering things and you expose your arm, and after what he's been through this year with the vertigo and a couple injuries, you don't want to risk anything this time of year. I think, you know, they left it up to him, and he obviously is going to take the best way, and you know, he didn't feel like he could do it.
Jeff Conine, from what you saw, you're the closest to the dugout. Cozart walked by you a couple of times. Obviously he's not real thrilled right now.
No, I mean, and especially with the way the season's gone for Jared Cozart, when you look at like Pavy just said, he was on the DL for vertigo for 2 months of this season. He wanted to get back into the swing of things, so to speak. He wanted to get into September, finish off the season with some good starts, and this is just another setback for him.
All right, all four of you, and we'll start with you, Tommy Hutton. This gives us a chance. Miami has not had a winning month all season long, but September, the Marlins are playing winning baseball. What's different about September for this club?
Well, you know what? If you had asked me 5 or 6 days ago, I would have said Martin Prado. And when Prado went down, the ball club was 1-4. Their win coming last night. I think one of the biggest things, they've gotten some key base hits. We've seen a lot of 2-out base hits.
Preston Wilson, out to you. What's different about this Marlin club in September from the other months?
The starting pitching is going deeper in the games, and they seem to be a lot more comfortable being in the major leagues, especially the young lefties, and Nicolino and Conley especially. Those guys seem to be feeling better at the big league level.
Pavy, from your spot, what have you seen different in September?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the starting pitching, with these young guys getting their feet wet and really turning the corner. Conley, Nicolino, but I think, you know, when Prado was in the lineup, they had quite a few days where they had that consistent lineup, and they really built confidence off that, and I felt like that really was the continuity they've been missing all year. I mean, I think that at that time, the lineup was the most consistent it had been in a while.
And Niner, you're as close as anybody to the clubhouse of the Marlins. You have really a nice finger on the pulse there. What have you seen in September?
Well, I just think that the clubhouse atmosphere is much better than it was earlier this season. There's been a lot of turmoil as far as the organization is concerned. These guys have learned how to play winning baseball. They're manufacturing runs like they didn't do early in the season. And I'll go a step further with pitching staff. I think the bullpen has been outstanding with the emergence of Bearclaw, Ellington, and some of the other guys that have emerged.
All good points from our four analysts from all points of the ballpark tonight.
I think the bullpen has, all of a sudden, they've found their roles a little better. Everybody's kind of settled into certain innings and done a nice job with Ellington, Bearclaw, Mike Dunn, A.J. Ramos.
You've got some serious talent down there,
serious.
Man. Pretty much every night you've got 4 or 5 guys throwing 95 plus up to 99 miles an hour. That puts a lot of pressure on the opposing offense to get base hits.
Jose Urena gets Aaron Altair as his first hitter, and opens up the top of the 5th. Altair walked, was caught stealing in the 3rd. The Phils have had more opportunities than the Marlins. They've got 4 hits. They left a couple on in the 4th. To left, Yelich glides back, makes the catch.
Guys, I think it's a credit to the organization for finding these good arms so that we can say that there's no Carter caps in the bullpen, and we're still talking about how well they've performed.
Oh, boy.
This is a tremendous change.
Look who come over and see me. Hello.
Yes, we have delicious
why is it
Marlins.
half bitten?
What?
Why is that one bitten right
Oh,
there?
I was a little hungry.
And we got
Hold on.
half-eaten.
Hold on.
Oh, I get the half-eaten meal. That's how I get it, huh?
No. You have knife.
No, I can't eat that. I'm allergic to hot dogs and all that other stuff.
And nacho.
And that looks very good, but it looks like you ate it. Did you take a bite?
Courtesy of chef.
Oh, thank you very much. That is awesome. Hey, good seeing you. What's your name? I thought I seen you on TV one time.
So, Pappy, you got something to eat.
Yeah, and someone else already ate it.
That never stopped me before.
We got some bites out of my hot dog already.
To left, and it's over Yelich's head, off the wall. Asher around first. My goodness.
Alec Asher has quite a swing. And, you know, you look back to that third inning when Altair was thrown out. He might have been stealing to get in scoring position, knowing the way this guy swings a bat.
Look at this.
Wow, that's a great bat path. Look at those hips open up. That's a laser beam.
Now, he can hit, but remember, he got hit by a ball leading off first base. So base running is still a skill that he's working on.
Those 90-degree turns, where do you learn that?
Well, he got his first 2 major league hits.
That's pretty good.
And, yeah, single in the third, a double here in the fifth. There's Freddie Galvis now. Galvis, a couple of hits, singled in the first, singled in the third. I bet the social media in Lakeland is starting to buzz.
Yeah, he's the Lakeland guys, just a kid from Lakeland. They're enjoying this.
They're loving it.
Asher from Lakeland played junior college ball in Winter Haven and Gainesville, Florida, Polk Community College and Santa Fe Community College.
I think when you get a young pitcher like Asher that is not too far removed from college, where he probably took some at-bats, he's still got a nice swing going right now, but as time goes on, he gets less and less. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right, Carl?
Yep, it's gone.
Well, and that's the second out. A lot of people don't realize that coming up in the minor leagues, pitchers do not hit until Double-A, and only in Double-A and Triple-A when 2 National League affiliates play against each other. If you're playing an affiliate from an American League club, it's designated hitters, regardless of if you are a National League affiliated team.
I think that's a shame because it does them a disservice as pitchers in being able to help themselves when they get, or if they get, to the major league level.
Yeah, not only hitting, but guys bunting. And we see that with a lot of young pitchers across the major leagues.
It takes a long time to learn how to get comfortable, how to not have fear when you're squaring around to put down a sac bunt. And time after time in the major leagues, we see guys come up and they just look like they're scared to death to stick their nose in there and get a bunt down.
Brian Bogusevic with 2 outs. Pabby, a couple things we've seen from Urania, his last 2 pitches, 97 miles an hour. As a reliever, he tends to come out of the pen with a little more oomph than as a starter.
Yeah, and he's above average as a starter as far as his fastball goes. But, you know, for him, I think his biggest thing is really staying within himself. 97, if he's jumping at you and the ball's flat, it's really doing him a disservice, because when that ball sinks on him at 94, 95, that could be just as effective as 97, especially if that ball's staying flat at 97.
I think he's better at 93 and 94 because his ball moves. 98, you see guys have good swings and square up a lot of his fastballs.
I pity the fan that's sitting behind Craig right now. Little tapper back to Urania, who goes to first and gets out of the inning. Jose Urania into the
check
ball
that
game.
runner.
Craig Minervini. Good service down there, Pappy. this Marlins moment. 1996, Luis Castillo, 3 for 5. Marlins had 21 hits.
Wow.
14 Marlins record at least one hit.
Lenny Harris right here.
Did I play that game? I might have played that game.
Tom Glavine, Hall of Famer, started that game.
Yes. Now, if Glavine pitched, was Red on the team at that point?
No.
No, 96.
No,
There's
it
Leonard. There's Leonard.
Wow.
Lenny Harris as a
Look at
Colorado
that.
Rocky.
Hasn't aged a day.
Lenny's right here. I wanted to see that shot.
Lenny's one of the greatest guys in
awesome.
baseball to have a conversation with. He has so many stories, and he tells them so lively. The only thing is, if you don't want to hear the truth, don't talk to him, because he's going to tell it to you.
Yeah, he's a bottle of truth, ain't he?
And he's got some volume, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does.
But it's just the way he tells stories, the way it's a very honest and refreshing, take on life and on baseball when you speak to Lenny Harris.
Yeah, don't sleep on him either. He'll close talk you.
Great guy in the clubhouse, too.
Well, the pride of Lakeland has 2 hits himself. He's allowed just 1. Miguel Rojas. Tomas Talis is on deck. And then D. Gordon is due up third. All right, Toyota trend. Rojas is hot. He's hit an 8 straight. And during September, Miami has the best batting average in the National League.
By far, by 13 points. That's impressive.
Yeah, it would be if the Marlins keep it up. Their first winning month of the season. Busted bat, diving stop, Ashe. It's a nice play on both ends. Some help from Ruff at first.
Seen some good plays tonight from third baseman. Derek Dietrich made a terrific play, and Cody Ashe, as he's diving, gets that tough hop, but came up with it.
Remember, Cody Ashe had some time off from third base because Michael Franco pushed him out into the outfield when he came in, so it's good to see him still maintaining good solid play over there at third base.
That's a good point, Preston. When he came back, he played 61 games in left field. Now he's back at third.
Guys, I like getting Tomas Talis in at bat here. That third catcher, they take a beating. They catch the bullpens. They do all the dirty work. And to see them get in at bat, I think that's a good job by Dan Jennings, rewarding his guys.
Talis. So Ureña's stay was short. Talis takes breaking ball for a strike.
Yeah, it's a rough job, man. You're catching all those extra bullpens because you got all these extra pitchers up here. You're doing a lot of extra work as that third catcher.
Talis bounces it out to short. Talis actually caught Asher earlier this year. They were both in AAA, the Texas Rangers organization. Saturday Spectacular this Saturday. Braves and Marlins, last one of the season. Hispanic Heritage Night, powered by South Florida Ford. You can pick up the all-you-can-eat seats for just $35. Go to Marlins.com and secure your seats today.
That's a good point, Rich, because years ago, before all the video, you'd try to find somebody who knew the pitcher. And if you had a guy like Talis who actually caught him in AAA, you'd pick his brain.
Pappy, did you notice that? All you can eat seats on Saturday night.
I didn't hear that.
You know that doesn't mean you actually get to eat the seats, right?
Oh, thank God you cleared that up, Preston. You are keen to the obvious. Hey, you guys all full? Because I didn't eat my food.
Well, you know what? You got great seats. You can have some mediocre food. I may have some prime rib in my cheese. I'm not sure.
Are you still complaining about your seat?
Dude, I'm not. With this great food, I'm not complaining at all.
You're broadcasting a Major League Baseball game right now. Give it up.
You should see the smile on my face right now, Patty, every time I bite into this prime rib sandwich.
I could see it.
Well, right now they're smiling in Lakeland. Alec Asher pitching a gem. reports from the biggest games. Get you ready for all the action. America's pregame at 5 Eastern, only on FS1. Streams live on Fox Sports Go. So Miami, who originally had Chris Narveson warming up, and Jared Cozart was struck by the liner in his left forearm, brought Jose Urena in for that 1 inning. Now it's Narveson, and he enters here in a scoreless ball game in the 6th. Analysts across the park, from Preston Wilson down the right field line to Jeff Conine in the third base camera well to Carl Pavano in the nice Diamond Club area behind home plates. Okay, guys.
Well, wait a minute. Before you go on to that, Rich, I have to commend you because you are the traffic cop.
Yep.
For us guys who think we know what we're talking about. So you're handling things better than all of us. You're the traffic cop.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
No tickets, though.
Otuvo Herrera is up with Darren Ruff and Andres Blanco. What happens to hitters, Jeff Conine, in the middle of a game when all of a sudden this is the 3rd pitcher they've seen, and this is only the 6th inning?
Well, you try and get a rhythm going off the starting pitcher, and that's why when they go deeper into games, 2nd and 3rd at bat, you kind of get a feel of what they're trying to do to you. Well, if you're going to face a 3rd pitcher in your 3rd at bat, you really don't know what they're going to attack you with. So it's kind of a hit and see situation, if you want to call it that.
And Preston, you go from a righty with Jared Cozart, another righty, Jose Urena, who was in briefly, to a very different look with Narveson, who is a touch and feel lefty.
Well, I go from trying to look for something maybe that they were trying to set me up for earlier to looking for a mistake. If you're facing a guy more than once, you kind of get a feel for what he's trying to do, how he's trying to work you. The first time you face a guy, you just got to look for a zone and get a mistake.
And that is why I think it is 10 times tougher to hit nowadays than it was 30, 40 years ago when you had the same pitcher out there for many, many complete games.
And so many more left-handed guys in the bullpen. For the longest, you might have had 1, maybe 2 lefties in the bullpen. Some bullpens have 3 out there now, and that's really hit the left-handed hitters hardly.
And these lefties that are in the bullpen, they could be thrown in the mid-90s. That was a rarity for a while too. That the guys weren't coming out throwing in the mid-90s from the left side.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was rare to see a righty lead the league in hitting. But lately, you've seen more right-handed hitters lead the league in hitting. And I think it's due to all of these left-handed specialists coming in late in the game. Lefties don't get a chance to see those relievers or starters, for very long.
I think it's due to Miguel Cabrera because the guy can rake.
Well, I mean, you got guys like him. You got guys like Pujols who've been able to get into runnings. Guys like Mike Trout, who's always up there at the top now. But righties are used to facing lefties. Some lefties really don't like facing lefties. I remember when I was playing, if Kurt Schilling's playing, I'm playing. If Randy Johnson's playing, those lefties in the lineup probably got the day off.
It's one of my first starts ever. George Brett had Randy Johnson-itis when he was in Seattle and not really knowing where the ball was going too much. So the rookie got the call that day.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff Floyd was here with the Marlins, and he was a tremendous talent, great player. But every time Randy Johnson pitched, they gave him the day off. And it's, he may have wanted to face him, but the managers just decided to not play him.
Preston, no.
I'm
you
being
did not
nice.
want to face him. Sorry. No chance at any lefty want to face Randy Johnson.
One of the biggest arguments that ever happened on the team bus was Cliff Floyd said that Randy Johnson wasn't that good.
Really?
And me and D. Lee absolutely lit into him. We were like, what
because
are you
how do you know? You never faced him.
Those are good times.
I could get Cliff on the cell phone here if you guys want to take that a little further.
We can text him
actually
right now.
He knows I'll say the same thing. He knows it.
I would have loved to be
He's
part
not
of that
going to
conversation.
deny it.
Oh no, that was a fun one though. But he knew it though. He actually said it to kind of stir things up a little bit. He knew he never faced it.
Darren Ruff at the plate, and Ruff can't check his swing on a high fastball, and he strikes out. And You know, Carl Pavano, maybe it's nostalgia, but a guy like Chris Narveson, it's fun to watch him get outs without max effort, without mid to upper 90s velocity.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Rich. You know, his first 2 pitches were swing and misses. One was in the 70s and one was 87. One was a cutter and another sinker to a lefty. Took the other guys who are throwing in the mid 90s to get a swing and miss, 10, 15 pitches. It's just the nature of the game. He just knows how to change speeds. He locked the guy up on an inside fastball. He's got everything going right now. Good downhill playing, getting ahead of hitters, keeping them off balance. That's the name of his game.
And got Darren Ruff, who's hitting .386 against lefties.
Yeah, and who has the highest OPS in baseball against lefties.
Do you think it's made it harder for minor league guys who don't throw as hard but really know how to pitch to move up just because of the lack of velocity?
I think it makes it harder for them to get drafted as college players or even high school players.
Going through that with my son just recently, you look at these scouts and what they're looking for, the colleges as well. You know, you sit next to the evaluators that are watching them at these showcases, and the first thing they look for, how tall is he? How much does he weigh? Yeah. You know, if he's under 6 feet, they kind of scoffed at those guys. They didn't really give him as good a look as the guys that were 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, then you got a guy like Altuve, who's one of the best players in the major leagues. You got a guy like Leak, who pitches in Cincinnati, who doesn't throw hard but knows how to get out. Yeah. Uhara in Boston. You got guys that know how to pitch, but they don't have that top end velocity.
Right center, Ozuna, sliding catch. How about that?
Great play.
Marcell Ozuna, a sliding catch in right center. The Phils will look at it, and we will on our way to break. Marcell Ozuna. That is a catch. And the American League Division Series is on FS1. It all begins October 8th. The American League Division Series on FS1. That wild card race in the American League certainly is an interesting one right now. The Yankees with that #1 spot, but Houston is stumbling. Minnesota with a win tonight could draw within a half game of the Astros. Texas won today. They strengthened their hold on first place in the West. They have a 3.5 game lead over Houston. Ichiro is up in a scoreless game in the bottom of the 6th. Skies it out into right center. Odubel Herrera makes the catch. And there is one out. The Marlins have lost their starting pitcher in this ball game. Jared Cozart struck in the forearm by a line drive. We'll try to get an update before we leave the air. He did come out and try to pitch the next inning. He stayed in after the injury and finished the inning, but could not continue.
I think you could really see the frustration too in Jared Cozart.
There is Yelich, who has singled, reached on an error. Brian Morris down in Miami's bullpen. The Marlins have an inning from Jose Urena and one from Chris Narveson in relief of Cozart. Meanwhile, this 23-year-old rookie from Lakeland, Florida, Alec Asher, is throwing a one-hit shutout and has 2 hits, much to the delight of his Lakeland buddies. Just kids from Lakeland who have made the trip over.
They haven't stopped texting.
You know, they're texting the stats to see when the last time a pitcher out-hit the other team.
Wow.
I was just thinking that's got to be a rare occurrence.
2-1 right now.
So far, in his previous 4 starts, his longest outing was 5 2/3.
Altair in the corner makes the catch. That was in fair territory. Couple fly ball outs open up the bottom of the 6th. T-Mobile. Every ball game brings you the Data Strong fan of the game. Now these guys are solid runner-ups to Alexis, who got photobombed there. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Now Bohr.
Bohr's come up big this year. I wouldn't be surprised him to get into one right here.
Yeah, you better hold on to your prime rib burger out there. That's where he went with a home run last night.
There's nothing left to hold on to, boys.
Count 2-0 to Bohr. 19 homers. And Niner, he doesn't have a swing with a lot of moving parts. It's really compact and tight, isn't it?
Yeah, not a whole lot of lower body movement, more of a handsy swinger, but obviously at about 6'5", 270 pounds, this guy's got some serious strength and can generate enough bat speed to get it out of any ballpark in the major leagues.
So often now the big power hitters are guys that release that hand off the bat to finish the swing. Bohr keeps the bat on the shoulder and takes a breaking ball, and Alec Asher, in search of his first major league win, is dealing a one-hit shutout. That's a perfect pitch. Pitch number 5. don't have a run, just one hit. Alec Asher, 23-year-old rookie, 5th major league start, and a one-hit shutout. Analysts assemble. There they are. Preston Wilson. Scoreless game. Who would have thought that Alec Asher would be the star of the game so far?
He's done a great job of not being in the middle of the strike zone. A lot of those Fox Tracks pitches that we've been talking about have been on the extreme edges, inside, outside, top, bottom. So he's done a great job, even though only using 2 pitches, of using those 2 pitches in great locations.
Pavy, what have you seen from your spot behind home plate?
You know, he's settled in. He's flipped some really nice curveballs to lefties for first pitch strikes, but guys just haven't really been able to get a hold on his fastball. When his fastball is down, the late life to it, really he's getting a lot of fly balls to left and a lot of late swings, and he's complemented that with a slider on the back foot. That's worked out pretty well for him.
Niner, is it a factor that no one's ever seen this guy before?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a factor when you've got the tools that these clubhouses have now with video and the analysis that they can take into that clubhouse. I think they've seen quite a bit on tape, but when you face it for the first time, you don't really see those little nuances like Carl was talking about, the late life on the fastball. And I think he's really start throwing some great breaking balls from about the 3rd inning on.
Chris Narveson. That one rolled to first, and it's a fair ball. 4 steps on the bag, and Tommy Hutton as well. Asher has looked good at the plate. I mean, here's a guy who didn't have a major league hit, and he's 2 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, he's had some really good swings. His single, and then the ball he hit into left field over Christian Yelich's head for 2 bases. But hey, a nice job by Chris Narveson coming on. He's only going to get a chance to face 4 hitters because he's coming out right now, but good job by the veteran left-hander.
Cozart for 4, Urania for 1, Narveson for an inning and a 3rd. Brian Morris enters to this Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen. And Morris, a Pepsi 4 for $70 4-pack will get you into closing day, September 27th. Marlins and Braves. That's a 1:10 start. All fans get a 2016 magnetic schedule, courtesy of Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. And you can enjoy closing day festivities. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash for the final time. Marlins.com for tickets. Marlins ending their home schedule with that weekend series against the Braves, but then on the road for 3 in St. Pete against the Rays, and up to Philly for 3 to finish the season against these fighting Phils.
Well, I'm marking down to Jose Fernandez tomorrow night against Atlanta.
Cameron Rupp, which means the Phillies will get Fernandez in Philadelphia in that last series.
Maybe. I mean, he could pitch in Tampa too.
Here's a 1-0. Fastball. A strike.
Because let's see, if he pitches Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he could pitch Thursday, would be his 6th day.
You do have that off day on Monday.
The off day.
Sharply hit. Dietrich again on his feet. Fires a dart and gets him. Well, Darren Ruff was robbed twice, and now Cameron Ruff is robbed by Dietrich.
How about Derek Dietrich tonight at third base? His second spectacular play. And he took his time. He slowed everything down. He realized Rupp hit it. He realized he's the catcher. He doesn't run that well. And he took his time and completed the play.
Yeah, that was great awareness by Dietrich over there. I'm right here standing next to him, and he almost looked like he wanted to say hi to me before he threw the ball.
I think he did, Niner.
I think he did too. Hi, Derek.
Hey, word from Miami's clubhouse. Jared Cozart, left forearm contusion. He's day to day, which I think is the best news that you could get out of the clubhouse after what you saw.
So the Phillies got their guy up in the bullpen. He's hot. Hosa. He's ready to go. Gave the tip of the cap.
Well, the pitcher spot is due up next. And Morris misses in to Aaron Alter. Although even if he's coming out, you might want to have Alec Asher swing the bat. I mean, he's only 2 for 2 tonight with a single and a double. Three and one. Hit hard. Rojas. Short hop pick. And a strong throw to first. Very nice inning defensively for the Fish. Still scoreless in Miami. Presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
No, looking back, Rich, 2 pitchers the Phillies acquired in that Cole Hamels deal. Alec Asher, one of them. Jared Eichhoff, the other. Eichhoff faced the Marlins back in August. got the win, went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and no runs.
Which lends credence to Jeff Conine's comment about you can look at all the video you want, but until you stand in there, you're not quite sure what you're going to see. Ashe across the diamond with 1 pitch. Asher has an out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And if you're thinking about this, because Asher has 2 hits and the Marlins have just 1, the last pitcher to out-hit his opponent with Jake Arrieta in his no-hitter, he had a hit in that game.
Dietrich now is flied out and struck out. Breaking ball for a strike. The Mets are tied with the Reds 3-3 in the 7th inning in Cincinnati, but it hardly matters. The Nationals swept by the Orioles. 5-4 was the final today. Shattered bat and a base hit. What an odd swing and result. A big chunk of the bat flew down the first base line while the ball dribbled down the third base line.
It's a do-or-die play by Ashe. Anytime a ball's hit off the end of the bat that way, it has some kind of unbelievable spin. So a tough time for Ashe barehanded. And getting the infield base hit. There goes Dietrich hard. He goes hard all the time. He picks up the Marlins' 2nd hit.
Yeah, it was a do-or-die play down there at third base. When you see a chunk of bat fly out like that, that means it's a cupped bat. They take out a chunk of wood at the end of the bat to balance it out a little bit. Hit it off the end right there, and it shatters into a couple pieces.
Real Muto launches it into right center field. It's down for a hit, and Dietrich's racing for third. Around third, coming home. He will score. Real Muto with a triple.
Well, they kept pecking away.
Yep. How many times you see it? A bloop and a blast right there. And Real Muto was motoring around the bases.
2 young guys doing the job, and what a great bit of base running by Dietrich. He picked up that ball right away, realized it was not going to be caught by Herrera, got a great jump, and for Real Muto, his 7th triple of the year.
Oh, yeah, as soon as he hits this ball, he knows that he's got a chance at 3. He's right out of the gate going hard and looking for it. And there, Dietrich, you're right, did a great job recognizing that ball was going to fall. He was scoring automatically.
Last 19 games for Real Muto, a .355 batting average.
Used to love every once in a while to see a squeeze in this situation. Everybody's still buzzing from the triple, the run scored. Marlins have taken the lead.
Just deflates.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah.
Boy, Tommy, when was the last time you saw a squeeze play? I can't remember.
Can't remember.
I can't remember watching a game and seeing a squeeze.
Yeah, can't remember.
And a properly executed squeeze, you don't even have to get, it doesn't even have to be a good bunt.
No.
If that runner breaks, you just put it on the ground, he's going to score every time.
So why has the squeeze kind of disappeared? Is it the lack of ability to bunt?
Well, you have to have the right ingredients, and these are the right ingredients. Rojas, decent butter. You've got good speed at third in Real Muto.
Yes, Rich, I think you've hit it on the head that the ability to put the ball on the ground safely has kind of been a lost art.
To right, it's not real deep. Bogasevic is there. Real Muto tags. He's coming home. Throw to the plate, and he is out at the plate.
I don't know about
bang.
that.
Rupp with a tag.
I'm not sure about that, guys. I think they got to review that one.
No, Dan Jennings is saying, hey, hold it. Let's see.
I got him safe.
Boy, what a transition by Bogasevic. Throws an absolute bullet strike. I think you're right, Carl.
Well, I tell you what, though, it was a great tag by Rupp, who went low with the tag to get the leg. There.
That's close.
Boy, that's really close.
Great
Good slide.
Great slide by Real Muto, yeah.
I thought a great slide by Real Muto.
He gets his foot down there knowing that he's got to get that front of that plate before he tags him.
Must be clear and conclusive to overturn. And the Marlins will not challenge.
Oh.
So the Fish have to settle for a run. 1-0 to the 8th. Is the evidence clear and concise? Is it conclusive? This is full speed. Now from there he looks safe. The home plate umpire Mike Winters called him out.
Boy, give credit to Brian Bogusevic, the right fielder, with a perfect one-hop throw.
That's really close.
I'm just trying to figure out where does he have a lane, because the catcher's foot looks like it's right on the baseline, and I know they put this rule in, and I don't know how they're ever going to, you know, put it out and make sure that everybody understands. But I don't know, maybe he did have a lane. I don't know. That's really close.
It is, and I think for Pat Shine, who is the Marlins replay coach, as Mike Dunn fires fastball for a strike, he has to ask himself, and remember that play last night that we all thought was going to go the Marlins' way that didn't. You have to ask yourself, will they overturn this call? Will they say the call was wrong and overturn it? And we've seen, Tommy, and you guys chime in on this, we've seen in calls like that, once the call is made, that holds a lot of weight. Trying to overturn it is not easy. And there has to be, it just has to be overwhelming, the video evidence.
Well, that's just it. A lot of times the video evidence is blocked by an umpire, or you've got just not the perfect angle to give you that perfect shot to see the tag.
Now this, normally,
this is what happens,
would be our best angle. This is our super slow-mo camera.
Yeah.
And look at the umpire. He's got to get his best look at it. And unfortunately, it's in the way of our best look.
Have there been any calls this year where it's been ruled that the runner was not given a lane and was called safe, even though the play resulted in an out?
Yeah, I believe Jeff Mathis. Didn't Mathis have a blocking the plate where he had his foot out and knocked somebody off the plate without the ball?
And watching Rupp on that play, and I'm sure Jeff Mathis would say the same thing. He did as good a job and got as close as he could without stepping out of bounds or covering up the lane. There was enough of an area that Real Muto had a space, but he was as close as you could get.
I agree, Preston. Last year, remember all the controversy on how many plays we saw at home plate. It was almost nightly, it seemed, that there was an argument and everybody was up in arms on that rule, and now you don't see it at all.
I feel like there's been a false narrative put out as far as there being
equal rights to that baseline for the base runner as well as the catcher. They wanted to avoid collisions at the catching position for plays at the plate, and they've done that, but I think they've also taken out some of the competition in scoring a run. I think it goes to the defense more often than not on these calls.
Freddie Galvis fouls it up. Meanwhile, Mike Dunn is in. The Marlins have now used 5 pitchers, and it's not often that you see a 1-0 game in the 8th and the guy on the mound is the 5th guy to work, but that was necessitated by Jared Cozart taking a line drive off the left forearm. He left with a left forearm contusion and is listed as day-to-day.
And Mike Dunn has come on. He struck out the pinch hitter Frank Coeur. Made some good pitches. Gets out number 2 right there.
Jose Urena, Chris Narveson, Brian Morris, the trio that has worked before Dunn in relief of Cozart. Darnell Sweeney now will pinch hit for Boga 7. Phillies have had trouble scoring runs lately. They were swept in Atlanta in each game of that 3-game set by a 2-1 score. All 3 of them 2-1. They got 6 runs and beat Miami on Tuesday night. Marlins extra inning winners last night 4-3. See the 3 teams atop that list at the bottom of the National League East.
Now the Phillies, after this game tonight, head up to Washington D.C. 3-game series against the Nats.
How nice is it to see Martin Prado back out there?
Oh, that's great. Making sure the wrist is loose. He'll lead off. Coming in, batting in the number 9 spot.
Here's a question for you guys. Have you seen a better third baseman this year than Martin Prado defensively?
You know, it's funny, no, because Arenado, who had a Gold Glove year last year, is having a down year defensively. He's having a good year offensively.
Martin Prado, it's outpacing everyone in chances and has the fewest amount of errors. You look at that fielding percentage. He's been everything that the Marlins have been looking for in a third baseman. And I think every Marlins fan is hoping that they see him at that position for a few more years to come.
Left center. Ozuna makes the catch. Mike Dunn. An uneventful 8, 1-0 Miami. Traffic always moves at a nice crawl. There they are, the analysts. They assembled tonight once again. And they join us now. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Top of the screen, Preston Wilson, Carl Pavano, and Jeff Conine. We'll start up here in the booth. Tommy Hutton, this is a 1-0 ball game. A lot of surprises in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the way the pitching has been set up with the injury to Jared Cozart, everyone has come in and done a tremendous job. Narveson, Mike Dunn had a terrific inning last inning.
And Preston, it comes down to that one swing by JT Realmuto and some good hustle and instincts by Derek Dietrich as Prado takes a fastball.
Sometimes you just got to hang in there. Derek Dietrich hadn't had very good at bats early in this game. The pitcher forced him into left field earlier. He was able to get that square off into the bat, and JT Realmuto came up big with the triple.
Prado's first at bat in a while. Carl Pavano, impressively, the Marlins haven't blinked after losing their starter, Jared Cozart, to an injury after 4 innings.
No, the guys out of the pen really matched up good. They got those 2 innings out of Narveson, which really bridged the gap for the other guys to come in. And, you know, Dietrich, his at-bats, you know, he was late on the fastball. He gets a really nice curveball and then a changeup that he's out in front of, and he nubs it, and it ends up, you know, getting a run for the Marlins. It's funny how this game works.
And finally to you, Jeff Conine. Martin Prado, such a big part of Miami's resurgence in their nice September this year.
Oh, absolutely. And not only on the field, what he's done on the field, we talked about how great his defense has been, but he's been swinging a hot bat. But the influence and leadership he has provided in that clubhouse is absolutely phenomenal. So many of these guys have learned so much from him this year, and they're going to take that for years to come, because he's made them grow as baseball players this year, what he's done in that clubhouse.
That's a great point, Niner. He's an inclusive leader as well. He's not one of those leaders who does his things and let guys come to him. He reaches out to young guys. He reaches out to guys that aren't maybe one of those top 8 starters on the team.
You know what? That started in spring training. There was one night where Martin Prado was walking out of the parking lot, and there was a large following of Latino players with him. And Prado had said, yeah, we're all going out to dinner.
I want to say 40 or 50 players he took out.
He took all of the Latino players all the way down to single A rookie ball. They all came with Prado, and he took them out to a very nice dinner. You just don't see that. I mean, you see guys in the big leagues hang together. You just don't see a guy like Prado, an all-star guy that's been in the big leagues, made lots of money, well respected. Just gather everybody up from rookie ball on up, take them out for a nice dinner. D. Gordon, sacrifice bunt. Prado ends up at second.
Well, that's old school. That's the way I was taught when we came in. I remember guys like Lance Johnson, John Olerud, those guys, John Franco, they used to pull us aside. Even we were in minor league camp. If we came over to big league camp, they'd tell us, hey, meet us here. We're going to all eat dinner. That's an old school thing, and you don't see enough of that anymore. I don't think guys hang out in the clubhouse together like they used to anymore. So it's good to see that from Martin Prado.
It only takes a couple guys to bring a team together, and the camaraderie is so important. Also the voice. When things are going bad, you need that positive influence in there, because it's too easy to give into the daily grind and the negative things that go on in baseball and to, you know, be negative about it. You need those positive guys that are going to pick everyone up and simplify it.
Yeah, well, you can create your own clubhouse atmosphere and cure what is going on in there that's been bad. Martin Prado's called a couple of meetings by himself and kind of got this team together and rallied and said, listen, no matter what's going on, we got to concentrate on what we got to do on the field and play like men.
The best teams I've ever been on have been policed from within the players themselves. It's not about the coaches. It's not about the front office. It's about the players that are in uniform in that locker room holding each other accountable.
All right, for all 4 of you, best clubhouse speech in your career by a player. I'll start with you, Hut.
Wow.
See, you should start with have me go last, because I have to think about it further back.
Great. Hey, that was quick right there, Hut.
He's got to go in the comment time machine.
All right, I'll put it out. Who wants it first?
For me, Jim Edmonds before the 2006 World Series was definitely the best clubhouse speech I ever heard by a player.
Galvis to first. What were the quick highlights?
Just basically saying, look, guys have been here before. He's been there before. He told us how to slow everything down, to understand that if you think it goes fast during the postseason or during the regular season, when you get in the World Series, it's going to feel like you're in a blender. Take a breath. Enjoy yourself, though. Look around the stands. Enjoy the fact that you're in the World Series, and that made everybody feel so much more at ease and kind of took the pressure off of the moment for us.
All right, Pavy, you're up next.
Yeah, when I was in Minnesota, one of my favorite teammates, Michael Kadire, who just had a passion and a grittiness about him, but could relate to so many people. We were just on a really bad stretch, and he just pulled everyone together and really simplified everything. I mean, we were making everything complicated and just thinking too much and just digging a bigger hole, and he just really helped us simplify everything. Just with the grittiness that he went about it was really special for me.
Yelich takes outside Niner. Best clubhouse speech by a player.
I got to go with probably 1997. Darren Dalton kind of got our clubhouse together. We were struggling a little bit about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the season, and I can't really repeat what he said in that clubhouse speech that day, but he woke everybody up, and everybody started playing a lot better baseball after that.
1-1 is fouled back. All right, Hut.
I'm going to go all the way back, and it's not a player. It's back into the minor leagues, and it was Tommy Lasorda. Team. We had a good team, but we were in about a 9-10 game losing streak, and we're in the small clubhouse in Eugene, Oregon, and you could hear the other team that had just beaten us because the walls were thin. You could hear they were having a good time, and we just lost our 9th in a row. He made us stay overnight. He brought in pizza and beer. He said, look, those guys are laughing at you, and you're a better team than they are. We're going to stay here. We're going to have some fun tonight and beat them tomorrow night.
Did you beat him?
Yeah. Went on a run then.
Yelich swings and misses. And strikes out. To the ninth. A.J. Ramos tries to close it. For the Marlins, the Randi Vision Camp, this is the run.
Yeah, not a whole lot to it. Off the end of the bat, an infield base hit by Derek Dietrich. JT Real Muto, 7th triple of the year, into the gap in right center. Dietrich got a great jump, never hesitated. He came in to score, and it's been pitching, pretty much for both sides. And now it's A.J. Ramos' turn.
And for the Marlins, it's been a lot of different guys. Jared Cozart lasted just 4 innings. He left with a contusion on his left forearm, hit by a line drive. Jose Urena, Chris Narveson, Brian Morris, Mike Dunn, and now A.J. Ramos. And Ramos arrives. He'll try to shut the door on the Phillies. He gets the heart of the order. Odubel Herrera, Big Darren Ruff, and Andres Blanco. Carl Pavano, to you. A.J. Ramos getting the closer job. He's had his ups and a few downs. Your thoughts on 2015 for Ramos?
Oh!
Wow.
That one got away from him. Well, I feel like his consistency has a lot to do with his demeanor. If he stays nice and calm and trusts his stuff, he's there. Sometimes he can get a little anxious, but the stuff is definitely exceptional.
Oh!
He's not scared of anyone. He comes right after you, and you know, he wants the ball, and I think that's the type of guy you want out there in the 9th inning. He stepped in a big way. You know, I know in the minors he had some experience, but he didn't in the big leagues until this year, and he's really proven that he could take on this role.
I'm sorry about that, Carl. I just gave you a big yell in the middle of your comment there, but he squared him up about as perfectly as you can on his lower spine. That can't feel good right now.
You don't see a ball bounce 60 feet off of somebody's back very often.
Yeah, that's right on vertebrae. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, pretty good base stealer out there too.
Yeah, he's gonna be sleeping on his stomach tonight.
Yeah, that plane ride home, he might be standing in the aisle. And Ramos right now does not have good control at all.
Yeah, you can see that he's a little jumpy. This is what I mean right here.
Look at this, pitch 1 and pitch 2. And remember, the first pitch he threw, it Herrera right in the back pocket.
Sometimes you might see a guy throw a slider right here just to kind of try to change that release point, because right now the fastball is not there.
That one fouled back to the screen. After the game, analysts will unassemble. And we've got Marlins Live brought to you by Checkers. Jeff Conine back out to his post in center field to join Craig Minervini. JT Realmuto with a RBI triple, producing the only run of the night. Herrera runs in the air, left center field. Yelich and Ozuna. It's Ozuna who makes the catch and keeps Herrera at first.
That's a great bit of luck there, because Herrera got a pretty good jump, and then a good communication between Ozuna and Yelich. You want Ozuna to catch that ball. He has a good angle because he throws right-handed. He gets in a good position just in case Herrera is thinking about tagging up at first base.
Yeah, and if you're the off outfielder there, you want to be basically the eyes for the outfielder that's catching the ball and tell him what's going on and say tag, 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 and he can get off a good throw like Ozuna did.
Now Blanco. And a strike to Blanco.
I like plays like that when everyone does everything right. Even the base runner knew that they were on this big deep gap. He had a chance to get back and tag up. If Yelich catches the ball, he might take that shot. Everyone did everything right on both sides of the ball right there.
I believe Hand and McGuff are up just to get some work. They were held as long men, and as the night draws closer to an end, they're up to get some work. Right now it's A.J. Ramos trying to save it. Right center, Ichiro. The park will hold it. And he makes the catch. Herrera back to first again. And there are 2 outs. With the postseason coming up, you got to have MLB.com at bats. #1 app for live baseball. Get you live look-ins, in-game highlights, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, pitch tracking widget. MLB.com at bat, your smartphone or your tablets. Cody Ashley, who has the power to change this game with one swing. He homered twice in game 1. There's a changeup for a strike.
Ramos has so many weapons. How many closers have 4 pitches? Curveball, slider, above average fastball, and a changeup. He can really mix it up on these lefties where they don't know what's coming.
I think, Carl, that helps him get out of jams, too. When one of them isn't working, he can go to the other one.
No doubt. It's a luxury to have all those pitches. He's almost like a starter throwing the 9th inning.
Yeah, and they're quality pitches. It's not like it's a so-so curveball or a so-so changeup. He's got 4 really good pitches. You know, some guys might have 4 pitches, but 2 of them you can pretty much throw away because you don't have to worry about them. The action isn't that good to get your attention. These are 4 good pitches.
If you watch enough, they're all strikeout pitches. When he's ahead in the count, they're all strikeout pitches.
I felt that Ramos early in the season had more swings of balls out of the strike zone than any pitcher I'd seen. And I think he got himself into trouble when he started throwing too many strikes.
0-2 in the dirt. Ashe checked his swing.
That's a good point. Sometimes you got guys who tell them to throw strikes. Well, if your stuff's good enough, if you establish the strike zone, you're going to get guys to chase. Then you can expand. Don't stay in there. Give them a chance.
He's really amped up right now. You can tell.
Right? I love it. There it is. There's the changeup.
Shallow left. Yelich. And it's Rojas. Miguel Rojas saves the night.
Holy cow.
What a catch.
Grabs it right in front of Yelich. Had it all the way.
Great play.
Way to go, young man.
That was a nice game.
This is in no man's land. This is right where you don't know if it's going to get caught, if it's not going to get caught, and he never gave up. Wow.
Christian Yelich playing very deep, protecting for the double to score the run from first base. Had a long ways to run. What a catch.
Remember, the night started with Rojas making that brilliant diving stop behind second. Ramos watching Rojas. An extraordinary night tonight. The Marlins get a shutout of the Phillies after getting only 4 innings from their starter. Jared Cozart left with that bruise on his left forearm. The bullpen in a big way picks up Cozart, and Miami wins another series. They've won 6 of their last 7 series. Our analysts join us again. We'll start with you, Tommy Hutton. A team win, they often say this is one of those. You might say this was a bullpen win.
Yeah, it's a bullpen team win anytime you see the bullpen perform. Great note, the last time the Marlins had a shutout and used 6 pitchers to get that shutout was in 2010.
Wow. All right, let's go out to right field. Now, Preston Wilson, that last play, you're Yelich coming in from a long way. What do you see? What did you see from your perch?
I'm seeing Yelich come as hard as he can because he's playing deep to protect against the double. And for Miguel Rojas, he knows this situation, so he cannot give up on the ball. He's got to go all out as far as he can and try to avoid a collision and make the play at the same time. I think they did a good job peeking at each other and locating the ball.
Now, Carl Pavano, that ninth didn't start out well for A.J. Ramos. He hit the first guy with the first pitch. His next pitch was a foot outside. His next pitch was a foot inside. What did he do to dial it in?
Well, he calmed down. I mean, luckily we've seen this before from him. He's not spooked by having runners on base or people in scoring position. He's going to make pitches, but a lot of times with him is just him getting in the rhythm of the game and slowing himself down and making good pitches. If he gets a little too amped up, the ball comes out of his hand a little early, he doesn't get that extension, and he's not going to execute as well.
And finally to you, Jeff Conine, the run that the Marlins had, 2 young players taking advantage of an opportunity to play here in 2015. It started with some hustle from Derek Dietrich, and JT Realmuto continues an amazing September.
Yeah, you got to love the energy these guys bring to the team. You saw Derek Dietrich take a big swing and hit a little squibber up the third baseline, hustled all the way down to first base. He never thought about not dogging it there. And then, of course, JT Realmuto, like you said, has been hitting phenomenal here in September. Crushes one of that right center field gap, and he's thinking 3 right out of the box. I guarantee it. With his speed, he gets there very easily.
That's the run, and that's it. And guys, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
To all of you, nice job tonight. And Preston, And Niner, I hope you enjoyed your dining tonight.
Pavi, man, is that what I hear in my? Is that your stomach growling?
Yeah, it is actually. I got a half.
I thought that was the
meal
roof
by
opening.
Craig Minervini.
Look, hey, next year when we do this, we're gonna get fed.
Yeah, we have to have service
Your
up here.
turn.
We're 0 for 2 now.
Wow, you guys get
fed all the time.
You guys ever had Applebee's?
Good night, guys. Thanks.
All right, guys. This was fun.
All right. We'll see you, Jeff Conine, on Marlins Live postgame. Marlins Baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers and by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. 4 analysts, but only 1 run, and it's Miami's, and they win it 1-0.